Success principles never change, even during a pandemic. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, lead, and inspire. Today I want to go over with you 10 principles that principles remain the same, situations change, but principles always remain the same. I want to go over these 10 principles, and they have some relationship to our current situation with this pandemic, but of course, more importantly, they have a relationship with you and your life and how you're going to succeed in the things that you do. Let's go over them. First one, success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. You know, if you want to be successful, you have a purpose, a major purpose in life, something that you're devoting to, that you have a singleness of purpose. That is in order to be successful, you must give it your full attention, a singleness of purpose. If you get distracted, if you meander off in this direction or that direction, that is going to greatly inhibit your achievement to the point where you won't achieve. People that are successful will tell you that they have tunnel vision, a singleness of purpose on a worthy idea, a purpose. The price of neglect is much greater than the price of discipline. You know, this is true in, let's say you're an athlete and you're getting ready for a season, and you start working out, and then, well, you get distracted here, and it's a nice day, you're going to go to the beach, you're not going to work out. What happens to your body? What happens to your workout regimen? It just doesn't happen. And as a result, when the time comes and you're ready to start your training camp, you're ready to go into the season, you're not ready. Also, take a look at our scenario today. The price of neglect is greater than the price of discipline. Do I have to go into significant detail on that? You don't want to wear a mask. You want to go into a crowded area. You don't want to wash your hands. You don't want to pay attention to the things that are going to curtail this virus. Then the price of neglect is going to be much greater than the price of discipline, because you're going to get the virus, and you know, maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones, you'll be asymptomatic. However, you may not be one of the lucky ones there, and you may pass it along to someone who is not quite so lucky. There's a bigger price to pay for not doing it than the price for doing it. As an individual, how important is it to maintain your discipline? And if you want to achieve something, you have to have a game plan, you have to follow the game plan, and you have to move forward on a small step-by-step basis. You want to chunk things down, and that's exactly what we're talking about with this invisible enemy. You need to chunk things down. Okay, you have to have them. You have to go buy a mask. You have to get a mask. You have to wear a mask. You have to have the soap to wash your hands. You have to have the discipline to stay away from crowds. And if you don't do that, there can be a significantly bigger price to pay than just continuing onward. Does that make some sense? All right. If you want to change your harvest, you have to plant and cultivate in a different field. You know, we talk about the new normal. We have to plant and harvest in a different field. Kids going back to school, kids going back to college, you know, people that want to have summer vacations can't have it this year. We have to plant and harvest in a different field. We have to be thinking differently. There's a new normal. If you want to change the results, and the results were this virus is exploding like nobody's business, we have to think differently. We all have to think differently together in this particular case. You know, on an individual basis, excuse me, on an individual basis, when you have a worthy idea, when you have a definite purpose, it's okay to plant and harvest in a different field all by your lonesome. However, this time, we all have to do it. Just as other countries, around the world have done it and gotten their numbers down. We also have to plant and harvest in a different field. And we have to change the spelling of the word impossible to I'm possible. Yes, you know, it's having a positive mental attitude about getting things done. And the key thing, once again, is to recognize that you have somewhere between 3 to 5 moves that you can make every single day. And in those moves, you want to move forward a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And that's the case in anything that you want to achieve or in combating this particular virus. You got to do it a little bit at a time. Things aren't going to happen in one day. We are in a society where people say, hey, give me the pill for that and I'll be all better. It doesn't work that way. If you want to be successful, it's a small step by step by step process. The process is step by step. Just as people right now are hungering for a vaccine, the people that are the smart ones are saying, you know what? It takes time. We have to put this thing through various tests to make sure that it's A, that it works, B, that there's no major side effects, and that we can get this job done. So it's chunk things down, small steps, but every day have somewhere between 3 to 5 moves that you want to make that are achievable moves. They may stretch you out of your comfort zone, but make sure that they're achievable moves that you can do that are going to move your position forward. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Well, we've already kind of talked about that. You know, we have the pain of discipline of following the guidelines, and you know, the task force came out with the guidelines, most of them centering around 14-day time span that virtually all of the states chose to ignore. They didn't ignore those 3 in the Northeast. New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey didn't ignore them. They followed them to the letter, and look where they are versus where the rest of the country is that said, hey, you know what? I don't care what the guidelines say. I'm going out. I'm going to get the job done. You can't do that. That's like driving a car, going to a stoplight, seeing it red and saying, you know what? I don't care that it's red. I'm going to keep going. You can't do that. You know, if there are scientific guidelines to follow that are going to solve this thing, we need to follow them. It's kind of simple. They've laid them out. They haven't changed. More importantly, we've seen evidence that they work. The same thing is true in your life. You will suffer the pain of discipline of getting up, let's say getting up early, giving yourself some quiet thinking time, focusing on your one objective, planning your steps for the day, performing them with tunnel vision. These are the little things that get the job done, yet people would rather meander and get distracted by social media, video games, television, whatever, however they get distracted. There are so many different ways to be distracted, especially now. We've got to keep our eye on the ball. Number 7, being an entrepreneur versus entrepreneur. And unfortunately, we are seeing so many activities where people are being entrepreneurial. Here's a word I just made up, instead of being entrepreneurial. What do I mean by that? You are your own business. Hello, McFly, you are your own business. And it doesn't matter whether you work on a salary job, an hourly job, or whether you own your own business or not. You are your own business. And if you want business to be good, then you have to follow the certain disciplines that allow you to succeed. If you are an entrepreneur, then you say, well, those are kind of bull, whatever, and you go out and you do the things that don't keep you disciplined, and guess what? Your results are going to reflect that. We are seeing that in this country. We're seeing it in the country to our very north, where they have followed the entrepreneurial mindset. Does that make some sense? So, you know, being successful in doesn't matter what the endeavor is, requires that discipline. And discipline makes things easier for you. It doesn't make things harder. Number 8, Opportunities are seldom labeled. You have to be on the lookout to see something that's an opportunity, where there's a void, where there's a vacuum that you can fill. These are the things that, make someone successful. Now, this company Zoom that has all their meetings now, that they were available before, but I bet they're exploding right about now, aren't they? All right, because people want to get together. They can't physically now because of maintaining social distancing. And so this company, as one example, is taking advantage of this type of communication, and they're profiting by it. These are the things that you have to take a look at. Disciplines remain the same, principles remain the same, but opportunities change as technology changes, as the world situation changes, as the health situation changes. All of these different things give you opportunity, but if you don't go into it with your eyes open and say, you know what, I can make this better, or I can eliminate this problem, then you're not going to make it happen. Opportunities are seldom labeled, and the people that are successful are the ones that have the vision to see an opportunity and the ones that take action upon it. Number 9, don't be a leader who leads by an example of your power. Lead by the power of your example. Up until the last, week or so ago, we had an unnamed leader who, wasn't wearing a mask, didn't do this, had people congregating in major groups. And when he does that, guess what happens? Other people follow the leader. We are a follow the leader world. We are a copycat world. That's the way it shouldn't be that way. The people that are successful are the ones that can see beyond the present boundaries. However, most of the people, the rank and file, remember, we're divided up 95% unsuccessful, 5% successful. So who do you think the 95% are going to follow? They're going to follow the leader. And if the leader is leading by an example of his power, by, let's say, clearing off a street and then showing up at a church with a Bible to show an example of his power, or by sending, I'm not even going to go into that, but my point is, you see what I'm getting at. It's essential that leaders lead by example, by their example, and not by the example of their power. It's very, very simple. And finally, number 10, I want to talk about minefields. We are living in a society right now of everywhere you look, you look at this guy, maybe he's got the virus, maybe she's got the virus. We're living in a minefield. It's essential that we all work together. But the point is, when I say minefield, what I really mean is mind field. We need to get it in everybody's head that this particular objective is a worthy objective, and that's true whether you're talking about business, whether you're talking about family, whether you're talking about religious, or whether you're talking about health. You need to get one goal, one objective in the minds of the team of people that you will be operating with. That is the key point. And as an example, to my mind, if it's mandatory now that people wearing masks, and you see people not wearing masks, and you say, hey, where's your mask? That is starting to create the mindset. Just the same way as when I get into my car, I get in, close the door, I automatically put on the seatbelt. Now, Eli, I was around before seatbelts were mandatory. But now it's something that you do automatically because you have the mindset, because of repetition. That's what we need to create right here, right now, with the simple little steps that need to be taken to get this thing solved. And you will find in life that if you want to achieve a particular end, a particular goal, a particular objective, a particular burning desire, that you're going to have small little steps that you have to perform every day to get that job done. And you do it, starts with your mind. It starts with the vision. And because we will never end, a meeting on a philosophical note. Remember, principles are everlasting. Situations change. Follow the principles for this virus and for your success. Let's get out there and charge! I'm Eli's dad.